Hey, Shohei here. Welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Worldbuilding, where we're building a fantasy world with lore. We've been working on this fairy city found in the dense forests of the Sylvan frontier, and in the city you'll see a lot of buildings made out of organic objects like tree stumps and acorns, but you also occasionally find repurposed litter and garbage left behind by travelers. The saying goes, one man's trash is another fairy's home. Or so they say. In the last few episodes, we've gone the more natural route, so in today's episode, we're going to be finding ourselves a piece of trash and turn it into a nice fairy building. If you like world building and lore, consider subscribing and leaving a comment. It really helps Papa Algorithm figure things out. So in the last episode, we built this little tree stump to store our wood, and I moved some things in here to kind of improve our storage situation. It's not really the best right now, but you know, it's something. So we've got some more special wood over on this side. The nether wood is going to be hiding in this corner right there. And then we've got the really basic wood like oak, birch, spruce, and dark oak. Obviously, I have not organized too well yet, but look, we're taking baby steps here. So the Sylvan Frontier isn't exactly a nice and peaceful place. For the fairies, it is maybe, but for random wanderers and travelers, the Sylvan Frontier is more like a wild forest filled with monsters and the unknown. Most people avoid the wilds, but occasionally you'll have people kind of roaming into the forest hoping to find riches or maybe to catch themselves some fairies to sell on the black market. And unfortunately, with tourists, you get litter. So right now we're heading towards Lotus Village, the fairy fishing village. In order to try to see this litter we've got, you will most likely find this kind of floating in the water. And this is what we're talking about. You see that? All these random travelers just coming around, throwing their little bottles into the river. Very, very rude of them. You didn't see me holding that. It wasn't me. So this is what we're going to be working with today. We're going to be making kind of a bottle. It won't be like this type of bottle because this is more the shape of a potion bottle or stuff like that. But we're aiming more towards a bottle that you would find holding beer or something like that. Or like a cola. Not saying there's cola in this world, but maybe there is. But what we're after here is what's behind us right there, some sand, because there's no desert near me, unfortunately, since we're on large biomes. We kind of gotta work with what we got, so I'm just gonna go around here collecting up some sand. Look at that little bee butt. Our little fellow fairy villager living in this beautiful Lotus Village here. We got, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5 stacks of sand. I think that'll be more than enough to make our own glass bottle. So I think we're gonna start heading back. Unfortunately, I don't have like a super smelter or anything like that, so I'm gonna very, very slowly and sadly let it smelt up. And we're back in the fairy city here. I've been thinking about calling this place Mosswood. I think it's kind of cute and sticks to the theme of the fairies. But let me know what you think in the comments if you have any other suggestions. Oh my, Rob's family is here. But before we get too deep into the episode, let's head over to the library, and talk about some lore. Hey, stay where you are. Like a sinuous vine, the colossal serpent sprouted forests wherever she went. The most ancient of forests, now called the Sylvan Frontier, was her final resting place. It is said that the Entias served as caretakers to the serpent, earning them the name Protectors of the Forest. So the Entias had somewhat of a symbiotic relationship with the colossal serpent, which ultimately led them to inherit the affinity to wood. They helped serve the colossal serpent in her lifetime, and since they scratched her back, she scratched theirs when it came time. So I was thinking Children of the Forest originally, but I do believe that's from Game of Thrones. So we kind of switched it up just a little bit. But the Colossal Serpent is a very, very popular symbol for the fairies, almost a god. So if they see snakes slithering throughout the forest here, they'll, you know, it's kind of a sign for good luck and fortune to them. But anyways, before I did that, I really should have thrown some glass into the smelter here. But we're going to do that now, and we're also going to collect some dye, because we're going to be dyeing this bottle. And for this build, we're going to need a lot of brown dye, because I think we're going to be going for more of a, kind of like a beer bottle type of thing, instead of a clear white glass. So we're just gonna harvest up some of this, and then I've got a single cactus here. I do have some cactus already though. I had 2 little things of cactus here growing, so luckily I did collect some of that already. So let me just go find it in my abysmal storage system. And we got some bones for our white dye. Just turn that into bone meal, and then boom, turn that into dye. And one of the last things that we need for our glass is some amethyst or some tinted glass. That's not the right thing. Oh! That pains me so bad. Oh my goodness. Well, we still have a lot of clusters, but I've already broken a few of these, so I am, you know, I really got to be careful with this. Ah, yes, it's all coming together. Honestly, looking at it from the top down map is honestly really cool. This kind of looks like an arrow. Huh. But anyways, here we cleared out a bunch of trees to give ourselves some room to work with. But the bottle is gonna go right around here, and it's gonna be kind of facing this way instead, since the log is already facing that axis. Gotta break it up a little bit by putting the bottle on this axis. But I think for this bottle, we're gonna be making it into a greenhouse, and we've got all of our materials ready, so I think it's time for us to start placing some blocks. Let's go. I've been caught. Tell my family I love them. I imagine this is what a fairy in a bottle would look like. I don't think I really look like a fairy, but you know, it's okay. All right, but here is our little bottle. It's supposed to resemble like a little beer bottle. So it's got that little brownness onto it. Bottles back in the day used to be green, and then I think they switched to brown is what I saw. But I kept a little green up there just to kind of show some discoloration. Maybe from the sun shining down on it. Brown is just kind of discoloring. And then on this side, we've got a little logo here. It's got some writing on it, whatever beer company this comes from. Maybe eventually we'll make that beer company in another area. Who knows? Connect the lore there, you know? But yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I think the issue though is I'm not using connected textures, so the look of glass when it's not connected is kind of ugly. But I don't have connected textures. I don't know why. I'll have to go look for it. And then here there's like a little cork. I know like beer doesn't have corks. It's more like a wine bottle, I guess. But yeah, a little cork bottle, little cork right here that they turned into a door. And then we'll be putting little rows of dirt right here and make ourselves a little greenhouse in here. And we're just gonna knock out all of this dirt because we're gonna put some actual flooring in here. Oh. Actually, this layer I can leave grass because I am cheap. So that part will be covered up, so we won't really have to have that broken apart. And then we'll put some spruce flooring right here. And then I think I wasn't gonna do this, but I think I'll have this be kind of a plant storage a little bit. So I think we'll put barrels every other. That way we can put a little bit of storage in here. Having a little Mexican standoff over there. Shoot. Do it. Oh. Lost a staring contest. Also, it's very, very rainy, very gloomy feeling, but I kind of like it. Okay, let's see. And then we're gonna be putting grass or dirt. So this will be where the plants actually sit on. And then we need a lot more trapdoors, but the trapdoors will kind of cover it like this. So I'm gonna sleep the night away and get more trapdoors. All right, got more trapdoors, so these are just gonna come along here. Then we got some barrels. Don't think I really like how that looks. I suppose that will have to... No? Nope. Does that knob change anywhere? Nope. Same spot. I guess it'll have to do. Or maybe we do it like this. Oh. Oh, geez. Okay. All right. Wow. Okay. No. Now we have to do it like that. Okay. This is gonna be painful, but we're gonna get it done. This is very tedious, but this looks way better. Look at that. Just blends right in. Maybe that's a bad thing, actually. I didn't think about that, but hey. Alright. Well, hello. I was about to say, this looks a lot better, but it's quite hard to distinguish between the barrels. So I might put like stripped spruce maybe in order to kind of make it a little easier for me to spot. I think it's going to be kind of annoying not realizing these are barrels. What you got, man? Please be mangrove. A sniff. Oh, never mind. Weak. I do need a coral block just because I got a, what's it called? Pickle, a sea pickle. So I do need that to grow one. So let's see if we have any. One emerald, found one. This is like, I'm basically checking the sofa right now. Looking for some spare change. I really do need to get more emeralds though, because if I don't have enough emeralds, I guess he's on the chopping block, so. Looks like the villager is spared for a few extra seconds. I'm acting like he's not gonna die, but he will. But I kind of want to save my emeralds in case he ever comes with mangrove wood and stuff like that. So we're gonna hold, unless he's got, you know, a killer head. Killer head. And yeah, I added these micro blocks just to help give some more life to the game. You know, these are great for decorating. Not really anything I want. I already have like furnaces and stuff like that. So I think we'll just get the coral block. Aha, thank you, sir. You as well. But I think that's the end of the line for him as well. Apologies. Really need him to spawn again so that I can get more. Alright, so instead we'll have... Yes, you want your revenge, leave me alone. Instead we'll have strip spruce going down. Y'all gotta chill. Like, calm down. Look at this, look at this. Losers. Losers. Don't make me kill you. I'll kill you. Ooh, they dropped. I didn't know they dropped leather. Aha, and we got a head. Wonderful. So I think it looks pretty decent, but in order to make it look a little more like a greenhouse and to prevent it from kind of rolling away, I think we're gonna add some frames and supports to it. Maybe like the fairies kind of use their arboromancy and create some wooden frames. So I think that's what we'll do. Kind of like when you put a bottle of wine or something in a wine holder. It's one of those type of things that kind of, it's like that little thing that, I don't even know what it is, but it kind of holds the wine. So let's get to that. And bam, there she goes. Added a little bit of a oak trim, oak frame onto the actual bottle here. So it's a little more, it looks like it's a lot more stabilized. And you know, if it was, there was no frame, the bottle would just be rolling around whenever it got windy. So honestly, that's a very small tree trunk in comparison, or tree stump in comparison. So, you know, it's fine. It's fine. We're not gonna worry too much about scale and all that. So the scale of this compared to that tree stump, this would be a very, very big bottle, unless that's a very small tree. And it reminded me of what someone said on another video. And they said that maybe you can have things like this teapot might be a teapot from a smaller race. So something like a goblin or a hobbit would have smaller items like a small teapot, and bigger things like a human would have, you know, bigger boots or smaller boots. So we can just follow that train of thought, and yeah. But now that we have this little greenhouse built, we just need to kind of beautify it. So, oh, I also added these little oak shelves to kind of put some more plants. I'm probably gonna break up this one a little more, just to, I was gonna have it like a straight line and just have a bunch of stuff up there, but I think it might be better to just break it up a little bit. But we don't really have that many flowers and plants to fill this area. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna sleep this night away, and we're gonna head towards a flower forest and pick ourselves some flowers. So this is where we're at right now. You can see our little greenhouse bottle right there. But the closest flower forest is down towards this way, right there, which is quite far. But I think it'll be okay. We're gonna take our horse and we're gonna kind of trek over here. Since we're gonna travel so far, I think we'll just collect a lot of them. And then we also have to grab our mighty steed, which we have yet to name. I think Savannah would be great because we found her in a savannah. Or I believe we found her in a savannah. Might have been my first horse that I accidentally dropped into a ravine, but I can't remember. But once I get a name tag, you know, We'll call her Savannah. And we're here. Can't see over my horse's big head, but there it is. The flower forest. I think we'll just hitch our horse right here. Be good, Savannah. Time to gather some flowers. Alright, I spent an ungodly amount of time collecting flowers, and I think we turned out pretty well. I spent a lot of time trying to look for lily of the valley patches and try to I kind of basically bone meal the entire biome and couldn't find any lily of the valley patches. So unfortunately I only got a few of those, but I got a little bit of everything else. Eventually I think I'm going to come over here and build like a little flower outpost for the fairies. Something that they kind of collect flowers and maybe they trade that a little bit. But I think it's time we just start heading home and decorate that greenhouse of ours with all these new flowers we got. Let's go. All right, time to decorate this thing. So we put up a little basin right here to kind of wash your hands and all that once you get in here. And then I think we will put this there and this there. Then we'll put a shear here. It's going to be more like a secateur, kind of what they do to kind of clip plants. And another item frame. On the item frame, we'll put a stone hoe, one of my first hoes. And then here we changed up the shelving a little bit. And so for the front part, since it's got space, we're going to be putting some 2-high flowers. It's, you know, not going to be the prettiest of greenhouses just because it's kind of a straight line. When it's a lot larger, you can kind of have different segments, but for this one, you kind of can't do that. But put that there and that there. Bam. I probably will maybe take this part out. That way you can kind of add some irregularity to it. Get some lighting in here by bone mealing those. This one can be hanging kind of low. That's fine. And then boom, boom. So I think I honestly put a little too much storage in here, but that'll be fine. We'll kind of figure out how we want to organize this. Right now I kind of just have all the flowers in the first segment, but I'll probably do them like individual flowers maybe, but it's gonna be a lot. Then we also want to add some points of interest. So we'll have a hanging plant right about here. Bam. 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 Probably needs to go up one more. There you go. And so we'll want to add a few hanging plants. So maybe another good spot will be right here. This one can hang a little lower. Bam. And maybe for this one, we'll do a regular azalea. There you go. And then we'll make a little tree by doing this. You put a big pot, a little pot, and then you could either do a dead bush or you do an azalea might work. There you go. And then flowering azalea. There you go. A very miniature tree. If you don't like this, you could also put this dead bush in there as well. should add that fluffy leaf texture as well to this game. So I think we're just gonna experiment with the rest of this, and I'll show you the end product. All right, so the interior is done now. So let's take a quick peek inside. So we've got the little cork opening here. Come in, bam. So it's you know, it's kind of tight, but I think it works. But you got a little washing station here to wash your hands, wash some, I don't know, plants. Use the water for watering them. Then you got a little, what do we call it? A hoe, a scythe or hoe to kind of work with stuff. And then you got a bunch of hanging glowberries for some lighting. The chests are kind of all over the place, but we've got these nice little hanging plants as well. There's this design as well, kind of cute. You got an indoor tree. But yeah, I think it's pretty good. Hopefully I didn't over decorate it, but I don't know. Greenhouses are pretty colorful, so I think it works out fantastic. So I mentioned earlier that the Sylvan Frontier is a very, very dangerous area. There's a lot of monsters, a lot of beasts hiding, lurking behind the trees. And sometimes you'll have adventurers come through and kind of look around, hopefully slay some beasts. And one thing that a lot of adventurers do, or maybe not a lot of adventurers, but a lot of maybe some bad people will come into the Sylvan Frontier and look for fairies because they catch a very, very high market price. So a lot of time, I think you've probably seen it in other video games, like a fairy in a bottle, things like that. People like to put them in bottles and collect them if they can, because they're kind of like Pokemon, right? There's different types of fairies. Some fairies may look like have beetle-like features. Some have mosquito-like features, butterfly features, stuff like that. Fairies here are supposed to be kind of insectile-like, and so all these adventurers would come through here. Maybe not the good adventurers, at least, would come through here and look to trap some fairies. And we're gonna take a little bit of a dark turn here, but sometimes these fairies will be bought on the black market to be eaten, because there's an ancient myth that eating a fairy will give you the affinity to wood. Or we can go the sunshine and rainbows route and say that the belief is a fairy can grant you a wish, like a genie in a bottle. But of course they can't grant wishes, just indigestion. But non-vitalized races would try to hunt these fairies, but of course they're quite elusive, and it's a very high risk to try to hunt for fairies because you gotta go into the Sylvan Frontier. That's where they mostly reside. Of course, there's fairy colonies in other forests, but the main way is to go to the Sylvan Frontier. And obviously the Sylvan Frontier has monsters other than fairies, so it's a very, very dangerous job. Well, that took a pretty dark turn for such a cute little build here, but you know, it's okay, it's okay. But I think it turned out really, really great. So this is basically a bottle from the factory that we will probably try to kind of connect in the future. So whenever we get to other races, maybe one of them will have a bottle factory, like a beer factory, one of those, and we'll have it labeled as this, or whatever this says. It kind of looks like the word cad or can, something like that. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we have for this episode. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.